Hello viewers. This section is about magnifier, spot of operable. So operable is part of accessibility testing. The sections related to 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 and 2.4. So all these sections of WCAG related to accessibility testing talks about operable elements of accessibility, which means if a particular special user and need an assistance in using keyboard for a particular web page, how they can actually access a particular page, or otherwise if they have partially visible eyesight, and then how will they be in a position to see a page. So let us take a um, page zooming functionality. So any special user, so when I say special user, I call it like a person with a disability wanted to use a magnifier, part of your Windows application. It comes in your programs. So what it basically does, it asks the user what percentage they wanted to increase. So if they choose 200 or 300 or less than that, it will give as per the instructions to that, and then you just need to carry um, on how well you wanted to have this feature on for the magnifier. So I'm going to the settings of magnifier. I'm just slowly going down to see zoom level increments and then enable options for the magnifier. So it is basically full screen, but what happens when there's a partially sight for partially visible users, they will have this docked feature for them, which means they will have this section within the monitor splitted into two. So what you see on top of the screen is the magnifier, and then what you see bottom is a normal mode. So majority of the partially eyesight candidates use this as an option to read it. For example, if they wanted to read a particular page, uh, they may not see that in 100%. They will have to zoom this into 200% and then read it out. Now they will be in a position to actually see what is the URL only now, since it will be visible when it is 200% or above 200. For example, if it is 300. So I move this magnifier bit downside and then go to the URL. So now partially eyesight user will be in a position to read this, then move down. He or she will be in a position to see the sections of the web page, and then pressing tab from URL, they will be in a position to navigate, or using the mouse actions, they will be in a position to go to the particular section. If they wanted to click, they use a magnifier to read that particular place for 300% or above 200%, and then they'll be in a position to go to that section and then read it slowly underneath. So this is the way how uh, the zoom text of particular page can be validated. There is another way. The tool is called zoom text, so we can check that later. So if we have the license for it, probably we can use it to zoom in the similar way. Otherwise, magnifier comes along with the Windows application, so just that if it has to be tested, it has to comply with the percentage of the text visibility. For example, in 300%, what we see as a URL, there is a bit of dim on URL when we actually see them. So it is not that clear if we see the color combinations of them. So it is still fine because it can be readable, whereas some pages, uh, for example, if we look at the this page content, when we focus a particular tab, for example marketplace, and then there is a color change and then it looks bit dim. So it maybe needs to be improved a little bit to have a clear text view for a special user to read it clearly, so it will not impact their eyes. And then if they wanted to reduce the percentage, they can reduce it, and then if they wanted to close the magnifier, of course they can close, or if they wanted to have a full screen, they can even have a lens mode, so that they can just have that particular section zoomed. For example, if I increase the percentage, I just go to the particular section to zoom it across. So this is the flexibility to go to the particular section, just read it in the zooming mode, so that user will know what is that they are actually reading. Whereas if it is an 100%, they may not read clearly on what is there on the page at all. So this is the way how Magnifier works. So probably in the next session we will continue on the other accessibility points.